So I'm going to use my 30-second focusing tool right now. I want to talk about how I don't want to waste your time, whoever you are. And I also want to talk about how I want to only do things in such a way that the well-being of everything is best activated, but because of my choices and actions. That was 30 seconds. That felt like 10 seconds. Because I'm kind of tired, although I am sprightly spiritually, I'm kind of practically speaking, kind of tired. And it's weird to me because my mind isn't tired, but it's like my life and I'm not tight and efficient. And I can see that that's in the way, and it gives me a certain I can't do it as well as I wish that I could right now, this second. And yet something inside of my mind is yeah, you don't need to talk about negative words. It's not even, that's not correct. It's you went through life and you had a bunch of terrible experiences and you survived them. Of course, right after all that, you're not going to be in some kind of peak form of perfect efficiency and tightness. So there's no need to bring up those words, because language is like coding. And whenever you simply bring up a word, especially when you speak it, because it goes, most potent form of word is speech, making it audible. And then thought, and written are less powerful. So just don't say certain words. Your intentions are simply to describe the situation, but weirdly, words are optional, and you need to understand which options you should pick. And this is part of learning freedom, learning to understand the meaning of things, because things are like math. Things are like definition, as in language. But mostly things are like coding. This symbol means that. It has this kind of energy. It has this kind of frequency, dare I say. If you use that word, although you're just simply describing a situation, you're activating that frequency, and although your overall intention is to create an honest, truthful communication so that everyone who might hear will understand and will be in a vibe of truth, not lies. The effect of the words that you could choose, that you did not just choose because they are negative words, the effect of those words being heard by the person has a negative effect on the person. So although your intention was good, the effect that it had was bad, because the nature of words is such that they are defined frequencies, and your good intention does not change that. And that's what I mean by it's like math. You can emote at math all you want. You can cry at math all you want. You can will with your good intentions and wishes in your heart at math all you want, but if you use the wrong quality of a variable that you choose, that variable will be what it is. A is A, as per Aristotle, the law of identity. And so in order to be a good person, you have to be smart. You have to actually understand what things will have as their consequences. And it is safe to talk about how Buddhism is coming through really hard, because these are all Buddhist vibes. It's just Buddhism coming through right now. What I wanted to talk about in making this video before I stopped and my hearing just got clearer. I don't know how to explain this. It's like a physical sensation of my hearing just got clearer. My hearing just went into bigger and more clear. My voice is clear, my voice is louder. I don't know what's happening, but it just happened. Okay, Um, I was watching something and it was bringing up all these emotions. And afterwards, I was like, okay, well, what does all this mean? Then I thought about the video that I just made about, it ended up being about Catholicism and Orthodox Christianity and Protestantism. And I mentioned St. Nicholas and I mentioned something else. And I was like, so basically, the content of this video is Christian stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what the point of it is. And then I was thinking, I was like, is this just like I was raised, my subconscious of my brain, of my mind, was conditioned in a certain environment. And so now this always wants to be resolved under the storyline of, and then it all began, and then it all began, and then it all was like, so like if you're born with a story that was in your circumstances while you were a brain during 0 through 5 to 7 years of your biological life, if your environment told you this is the story, like the Jesus Christ story, the Bible, the church, Mother Mary, and everything else of that nature, you are experiencing church, you're going to services, you're hearing songs, you're hearing prayers, you love it because it's your parents and your mother and your like environment, and you experience it as your origin point and you have natural love for it. And there's a desire, I think, to always arrive at a conclusion where it all was right. Because it can't be wrong, because it's like what your mother and your birthing environment gave you. And so I had this feeling, I was like, yes, I'm having some kind of like story happening with this Christian stuff recently, but I'm like, is it the truth? Am I just being pulled into like suggestion from my own subconscious mind and the child need for the story that I was given by my mother and my surrounding environment, which I love, to be the story that's true? Like, is that what's happening? You know? Because if that's happening, it needs not to win. I'm like, I don't need like some kind of existential subconscious desire from child brain times to rule my life. I'm like, I need the truth. I don't know if Jesus Christ is the truth. I don't know if the church is the truth. Why am I talking about it? Like, I feel like the story is trying to unfold that I went through my life. It was terrible. Why did those horrible men do that to me while I was a child? Why did God allow that? I have no answer to that. That makes any sense. And yet I'm being pulled into go to church and cry and feel these things. And look, you're becoming a better person because you're inspired by the purer thoughts in church, which is true. But it doesn't mean that like it's Jesus Christ. Because if it's Jesus Christ, it means